Hey guys, welcome back. Thought I'd start a short series on the basics of basically just introduce beginners to bass fishing to all the various techniques, baits, when to use them, where to use them. I'm gonna try to keep them short, 5 minutes or so, just so you get your information and move on with your lives. So today we'll start with spinnerbaits, basics of spinnerbaits. So I've got my my Bass Mafia blade coffin, they call this thing, and it allows you it's supposed to allow you to organize your stuff a little bit better, because spinnerbaits are kind of hard. You don't have a little plano box or anything they fit in. So this guy here gives you a way to either straw them in there like I did, or kind of put them in these little pouches here. We'll talk about a few of the different types of spinnerbaits here. Spinnerbaits allow you to cover water pretty quickly versus something like a jig or a worm, where you have to kind of drag it with your ball and chain there a little slower. So I think the most important thing to take note of when you're picking a spinnerbait is time of year, water clarity. If it's colder out, you want something moving a little slower. So something like a Colorado blade would be better in that situation versus something like Indiana blades. So let's talk about that really quick. So basically you have Colorado, Indiana, and willow leaf blades. That's your main types of blades that you put on a spinnerbait. So willow leaves, kind of like the name implies, are shaped like a willow leaf. Longer, skinnier, put off less vibration and more flash. Now this would be better, say right now, it's December 12th, 13th, something like that. The water temperature is around 50 degrees, so fish are actively feeding back here in these pockets. So you want something that moves a little quicker, kind of draws an instinct strike from them, doesn't let them get a good look at it, and kind of mimics what they're eating, bait fish. You can see these little blades, when they're spinning and flashing, really resemble shad, and the size of shad that they're eating on too. They're basically that big right now, the bait they're eating back here. So this guy here is probably a good bait to start with today. We'll go fishing here in a couple minutes, and I'll show you how to use it and what the watercolor looks like today and why I picked this particular spinnerbait. So again, this is a dual blade willow leaf. You can see it's been eaten up pretty good. This is a hog collar. I think it's a 1/4 ounce, number 4 and number 4.5 blades. That refers to the size of the blades. So on the other end of the spectrum, this guy here, it's got double Colorado blades. This would be really good if the water had a lot of color to it, a little dirtier. The reason for that is these bigger blades put off more of a thump coming through the water, and bass actually have a vertical line down their side that detects vibrations in the water, and they can hone in on this guy even in the middle of the night. I mean, you could throw this guy after dark and catch him on these double Colorado blades. So this will go a little slower, a lot slower. So we'll show a couple of other kinds. Obviously, here's another willow leaf. These have gold blades versus the silver blades on this one. I think personally, I think gold is a little better on cloudier days. Just because the sun's not shining, it's really not getting that flash as much. So the gold blades seem to work better on cloudier situations. There's another Colorado blade, a little smaller than that one. You can see those blades are a little smaller. My skirt's actually about to melt off that one, I can tell. So why would you want smaller Colorado blades over the bigger ones? Well, colder water, you can work this one a little slower and it will still stay the same depth in the water column. versus say summertime or late spring, water's warmer. You can really work it quicker, and it stays at the same depth, but it also gives you that more vibration than the willow leaves. Dual blades, I've been showing you dual blades. They also have single blades. This here, I believe it's called a midnight special. This is Big Laboon by V&M, 1/2 ounce. This, I actually fish these in night tournaments. We have summer trails here that go on at night. This one would also work really well in very, very dirty water. Reason being, it's got that flat orange paint finish on it. I mean, that sucker in dirty water is bright, believe it or not. And the single Colorado blade. Now, you might think, hey, there's 2 Colorado blades on this. It's going to put off more vibration than the single Colorado blade. That's not true, because these actually offset each other. It has less vibration than a single Colorado blade. This thing, if you fish it, it's going to feel like thump, 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 thump. This one's more of a little less aggressive of a thump with that. So they can really hone in on this in low visibility conditions. So you got that one. Here's another single Colorado blade here that has a black blade on it. So this one might even be a better option at night. Black is actually easier to see at night than something like a silver, because it's darker than its surroundings. So this is another good one for nighttime, or that dirty water situation again that you might find yourself in. This coffin blade, this blade coffin, guys, by Bass Mafia, it's pretty cool, but it's a little bit annoying sometimes trying to put your baits away here. So they also have, I'll just show you a couple different ones here. There's another single blade Colorado here. That's another reason I don't like this thing, is it grabs the bar down there. It makes it hard sometimes. This one's black and blue, and it has rattle in it. So yeah, I mean, we basically covered the different sizes and colors of your blades there. So types of retrieves, we'll get into that when we start fishing here. Let's tie on a spinnerbait here. As far as equipment for this, I like around a 7-foot medium heavy. Has a bit of a give to the tip, but you got the backbone there. Reason being, it lets them kind of suck in the bait, take it a little bit better. All right, let's go fishing. Show you some of these retrieves. All right, so look at my equipment here. I'm throwing this on a Lose, Teams Lose Pro TI. This is like a $350 reel. It's very smooth though. I'm throwing it on actually a Zolo toad face rod, which probably isn't the best, but it's a good price range. And you're not doing any frog fishing this time of year, so I don't want it sitting on the bench. Put it in the rotation here. All right, I like to fish a spinnerbait this time of year. It's December. Fish are actively feeding. I want it to ride a little high in the water column because they're chasing bait. So I like to just see the blades thumping, flashing. One other thing we didn't talk about is trailers. both trailer and trailer hook. I like to throw a stinger hook on a spinnerbait, just because they short strike it a lot, and you don't want them. You don't want to be missing them. All right. So, like I was saying earlier, spinnerbait really lets you cover a lot of water quickly. These fish should be feeding. It's been cold the last few nights. It was down around freezing last night, and it's cold this morning. It's really the first week it's gotten really cold, so it might kind of slow things down a little bit, but water temperature is 52 degrees, so these fish are still going to be actively feeding. All right, maybe you can see the spinnerbait, but I like it just be able to see it down there, just flashing. Especially since we're in 6 feet of water. If you're slow rolling that sucker 2 or 3 feet down, and you can still see it, and the fish is on the bottom and they can see 2 or 3 feet, they're gonna come and get it. They're really not gonna go down for it. They're gonna go up for it to bite it. So it's called just slow rolling. You can fish spinnerbaits a couple different ways. You can slow roll them along the bottom or just above the bottom. You can also wake it. See how I'm going a little quicker with it and just letting it come out of the water every few feet. The blades just pop out, boom. That's one of my favorite ways to fish a spinnerbait, especially when fish are actively feeding. You're reeling it quicker, so you're fishing faster, you're covering more water, and it seems to draw pretty good strikes. So the types of areas to fish a spinnerbait, it's really actually surprisingly weedless. It's pretty weedless. You can bring it through pretty much just about anything as long as you keep it moving. I mean, the reason being is it's gonna kind of ride off stuff, you know, come across the laydown. As long as you're keeping that bait moving, it's gonna ride right over the top of it. Now if you stop it and let these these hooks turn down, it's gonna drop down and probably get you hung up. But as long as you keep it moving, which you want to do with a spinnerbait anyways, bounce it off lay down, stumps, rocks. I was fishing a tournament last weekend and just rock piles in 15, 20 feet of water. Just let it sink down there and bounce it along the tops of rocks, and I was catching pretty good 2 or 3 pound fish with it. All right guys, so that's the spinnerbait, one of those popular baits in bass fishing. I feel like we've basically touched on all the basics. Just try to catch some fish today, but it sucks. Conditions aren't very good right now. Like I said, it's cold. As you can see, it's just dead calm. Fish are not active, bait's not active. Spinnerbait really shines when there's some wind blowing, which makes the bait move around, and the fish are a little more actively feeding. But yeah, I think that we covered on all the basics, so just get out there, start playing with it, and we'll move on to the next bait.